Please get out of my way. Hey, Lexi, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm a little bit early, but that's okay. I thought it best to come out and talk about how the frequencies and the energies are today before you actually step out of the door and into the crazy world. Good morning, Charlene. The cray cray of the world. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit don't the frequencies are out there, man. They're just there today. And there's a lot of traps. So just watch yourself. It's like a bear trap out there. I mean, you're gonna go out there, you gotta really watch. It's like when you walk out your door, it's like, trying to think it's a cartoon and that they're trying to walk around all these traps and then they're going up like that. So be very careful. You don't want to escalate or elevate anything that um, doesn't need to be elevated or escalated. It's really important to come in with your love and just with the love of heart and not getting involved in the fights because you will be enticed. There's that frequencies that are coming in that are going to entice you to say, hey, come on in. Let's get going. Someone's going to just trip you up somehow or say something, and you're just going to fall into that craziness, and you don't want to fall into the craziness of it all. So it's really not worth it. So we do have the sun, of course, is in Cancer now, and it is there with Venus and Mercury. Now, Mercury has scooted on by and is moving halfway through. What do you Cancer, and he's just like just zinging along. Now, the one to really watch out for, especially this week, is Saturn. And we're going to talk about this a little bit. If you're in my astrology class, I'll be sending you guys out some more information on this Saturn retrograde that's coming up, because this Saturn retrograde, as Saturn is basically stopped, it's almost like you're just going to feel that stuckness, because here's this large planet, second largest planet, stopping in the air, stopping in the ether, right? So it's like and it has its rings. So I feel my vision of Saturn stopping is stopping and and the rings are just going into the water, and then these big waves, I shouldn't do this, but these big waves just come on over, um and because it's just trying to stop, like it's stopped, and then it's like going into backwards mode. So you might be feeling things not going forward as fast as you would like it to go because of Saturn going retrograde. And then you have Neptune at 29 degrees 55 seconds, very almost going to slip into Aries, right? And it's like, whoop, sorry, I'm going to be retrograding too, because I need to go backwards. So we have this feeling of, okay, I really want to get going, feeling of frustrations, maybe a little bit of overwhelmness coming in. So somebody might come in and just trip you up, right? And then you just freak out because they said something or they looked at you the wrong way, or you just have that angst with inside of you. So it's do some yoga breathing, Sat Oh, Nam. So do some Sat Nam breathing. Breathe in Sat, breathe out Nam. Allow yourself to come into the frequencies and the flow, and really watch out for whatever is going to tick you off. So blessing everything with love and light and pure source energy is the key to today. Because this week is just this is just sort of like the startup or the build of everything. We do have that moon that's really squaring over to Mars. Now, that's internal core, right? That's the internal core coming in. And so here we have Mars, and Mars is at around 11 degrees of Taurus. So we have this sort of and yeah, and the moon is in Aquarius. So we have the moon over in Aquarius, just passed over Pluto. So just feeling that little bit of, Pluto's there. He's still at 1 degrees. It's getting very 1 degrees, 31 seconds. It's going to be there, moving just very slowly before he just sort of pops over in September into Capricorn. But that where that Mars is, right? Mars is like, I feel like he's coming in, and I feel like there's triggerings that are going to be starting, sort of like um earth tremors, like coming forth as Mars is going into um Taurus. Now Mars is going to meet up with Uranus around July 12th, which and then at 3 degrees from there is Algol, and Algol is just that's the demon star. So Uranus isn't far from the demon star. Algo is the one that works with Medusa, cutting off heads, works with alcoholism, pulling you into the darker sides of things. So Algo is not exactly a nice guy. And it's a fixed star. And it moves like 1 degree every 72 years. So it's 3 degrees off. It's sitting there between Gemini and Jupiter, right? So the star, and it gets activated or triggered when a planet gets very close to it. Now, with Uranus getting close to it, that means that there's things that are going to get triggered off that are going to feel like the queen coming in, cut the heads off, cut the heads off. So it's going to be feeling very dramatic, because we have that Uranian energy that's coming in, with a 3 degree orb of there. And even though Mars isn't close, isn't, they're activating it, I feel like later on, either today, almost, yeah, today, no, tomorrow, going into Wednesday, when the moon squares over to Uranus, I feel like we're going to be feeling some really internal rumblings within inside ourselves again. So this is kind of like a rumbling kind of week where it's like, okay, what's going to happen, sort of the anxiety of the unknown, but yet that there's something up, like, it's like that uneasy feeling when you go into a house when you shouldn't be going into the house because the house is haunted, and so but you go in anyways because you're just like, yeah, well, I'm gonna go check that house out anyways, just because. And just that feeling of like, ooh, what's going on here? So a little bit of anxiety that's going to be, from today, of not trying to elevate anything, getting out of sorts, to coming into the um the moon, and the moon's internal, right? So it works with the internal. And Aquarius is about humanity, wanting to bring in the humanitarian, wanting to bring in, so something to do. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So something is going to be in the rumblings of things to do with humanitarian. But with Algo there, it's not going to be for the highest good for anyone. Right. So, so it could be triggering off some more protests this week, triggering off something that's going to um, attack or something like that. So I would just sort of, you see a crowd, just go the other way. Don't get involved. Just stay neutral. That's your best bet. Don't get involved. Stay neutral. It's not worth getting, getting involved in the cray cray that's happening right now. It's very important to come into that, into the heart, into the everyday is a gift, and coming into the places of gratitude, which will keep you very strong and motivated in going into the directions that you need to go into. So it's like, life carries on. Feel appreciative of life, sending out your love and light into the world in whatever you do. Say your prayers before you go into a place. Dust yourself off. Pull in the light, pull in the love, pull in those frequencies, so that you're not being thrown off guard when you go into places, or you might be standing in line and somebody's freaking out or some kind of bullshit. So it's a week of like of just letting go and letting God. Just let go, let God. Just let it go, because it could just get a little bit too crazy. And be aware, definitely, of some of the craziness that's unfolding at this time. But I feel like it's almost to watch it, not involve it, and sometimes it's very difficult not to get involved. So yeah, but especially as I got that moon squaring over, and then we have Jupiter, and I think Jupiter is trying to bring in messages of whatever happened between the conjunction with Jupiter and like Uranus and that in Taurus. They're playing some big roles here, because I got a lot of rumbling coming in, and I feel a lot of things are getting shook up. So there's some big shakedowns that are coming in. Next week is the election in the UK, so there's some really big shakeups. I feel it's going to happen in there, and just coming into the summertime. And of course, we have the July 1st celebration, the July 4th celebration, and then we have the UK election next week. That's going to be that's good. That's There's going to be some real shakedown, unexpected twists and turns that are going to come into that election, definitely, with how things are going to unfold. So what else do we have? Yeah. Oh, and then that's in June, July, but I just keeping ourselves strong, one step in front of the other is our best bet, and not to overreact is the key today. So, oh, there we go. We're gonna bring in yeah, my neck's a little sore today. It's like, oh my god. Been doing my little necky exercises, because I have that little this thing. Do my necky exercises. You're not supposed to blow it up, and you lay there and you just do your things. Kind of feels nice when I put it there. So you do my little necky exercises 3 times a day. Whew. Yeah. It's crazy, man. So I have the Enchanted Map by Colette Baron-Reid. I love Colette. She's a beautiful woman. She's one of those real. She's one of the ones that, I mean, she's earned her success by doing the work, right? She's earned her success, and she hasn't been. I'm going to say she hasn't been tainted by a lot that goes on within the spiritual world. Now she hangs out with Deborah. She's an astrologer, a psychologist, and an astrologer. Deborah. I got her book. Anyways, her name's Deborah. But she hangs out, and that brings in some grounding for her. So that's really good. I feel like the two of them really work really well together, and not getting into, because there's, especially when you look into the Hay House world, and you look into their world, you see where they've sort of since DV left, you see where they tried to replace her, and they brought in this can't remember what his name is, anyways, to try to replace her, but he had to be woke. So he's gay, and he's an angel reader and stuff. So I feel like they brought in a lot of kind of like woke spiritualists, and just so that they can draw in and continue to draw in the revenue. I'm not saying that they're not good or they're not tapped in, but I always tell people, just go with your gut. Because just because somebody's a spiritualist or say, I'm just a spiritualist, I'm a psychic, doesn't mean that they're tapped into the good the good part, because the devil will give you things, the devil will give you info and just make it sound so really nice, right? So always trust your own gut first. Always trust you first. Trust in your connection with your divine. When you start not trusting that and just going willy-nilly and all over the place, that's where shit happens, right? And that's where you can really go down some crazy dark roads. So there is and talk about dark roads. I got a story to tell you before I pull a card. You guys ready for story time? Well, there is this, I'm going to tell you anyways, because it's story time. There is these group of explorers, and these explorers I watch on YouTube, and these young men um, took a road trip to Italy. And what they do is they explore different abandoned castles and chateaus and abandoned houses and hospitals and all kinds of things, right? It's really cool. I love watching that stuff. I love watching people doing exploring of abandoned buildings and things. And then sometimes they do they sort of do a ghost hunt. Well, one of the guys, they call him the devil worshiper or Satan or something like that. And he's just kind of an oddball kind of guy. Um, he is, he's I he's just an oddball. He does shit like that he just does shit that you just like, why the fuck are you doing that? Because that's so stupid. Like one time they went and they were exploring one of the most haunted places in houses in England, right? And in there was underneath a dome, a glass dome, was a what was it? Something like a bat, or something like it was some kind of animal. Anyways, he took it up and they're saying, "Don't touch it. Like, don't touch it." No, and he's like, "Oh, it won't do nothing." Well, you could see because as they were filming that, you could see him starting to get sicker and like his face, like he just started like getting pale and paler than what he is because he was already white as a ghost anyways, but paler than what he usually was. And next thing you know, they're filming him and he's sitting there in the chair and he's like, I can't film, for his YouTube page because he just felt so fucked up from touching. And they said, well, we told you not to touch it. So this time, as they're going to Italy, they decided to do something. He says, I'm going to summon a demon. Like, first of all, you got a friend and you think that's funny for YouTube views that, oh, I'm going to summon a demon because I think it's cool. No, it's not cool. It's dumb. You're stepping into a place that you have no fucking idea what you're doing and you're just doing it for views. So, anyways, of course, I have to watch because I know there's something fucked up's going to happen, right? No, it's not Adam. Adam's no. This is another British boy. Um Fighter Explorer, something like that is called. Anyways, as he's doing this, what ends up happening is the vehicle that they are driving, uh, something happens with the motor. They can't get the part because they're in Italy. They're basically stranded. They don't have enough money to even get it fixed or to do anything or to take a flight home. They don't want to abandon their vehicle. They have to do a plea to the people who follow them to, help them out, right? Because they're abandoned. So, which is great. I mean, they have a really good following and a lot of people stepped up to help them. Then they ended up they were going to go rent a vehicle or rent a car, so they had to go to the airport. And the person that said, "Okay, I have enough. I'm going to go rent a vehicle." They get to the airport, he forgets his passport and the gate where they need to go. So they had to do a 2-hour walk back to their um place in the rain. Like little shit like that keeps like is happening to them. So you wonder why sometimes, some things sometimes shit just happens. Shit happens for shit's sake, right? Some things we just don't know why. Like, why did I get in an accident? Well, there's some things happening in my chart. But anyways, things happen, right? And sometimes we just don't understand why, right? Because we're being the best people we can, we're doing the things we can. But when you're starting to step over to the other side and start doing, say, playing with the Ouija board, because, I just want to play with the Ouija board, or I want to summon demons or whatever, or I decide to lay down on the ground in the graveyard beside my loved one. Um, I saw that yesterday. I was just like, um, yeah, it's just not always and then you wonder why stuff is happening or little things are tripping you up, right? And it takes to cleanse them. Like, they basically need to be cleansed um in order for things to start to turn around on them. They do have a friend that's flying out from England. I think he should be they're 7 hours ahead, so he'll be arriving tomorrow, in Italy with the parts, with the fuel injector and all kinds of things, a new fuel pump, and the hoses and everything for it. But that's the thing, is that, yeah, we have this is where, like today's energy, lots can trip you up, not to elevate it, staying in your light, being on the perch. The reason I'm saying all this, it's just like, it's, yeah, shit might still happen to you. Like, sometimes we'll have a really fucked up day and fucked up things will happen. But we know that's just, a lot of times it's part of life, right? But if we're trying to actually create fucked upness in our life, no. Why? Because you think it's cool, you think that's a good thing to do. I mean, I've warned my kids since they're little, not to be doing certain, shit and stuff like that. You don't go to the graveyard on a full moon with dowsers. Like, no, you're going to summon up a stupid poltergeist and bring him the fuck home, especially if you're a teenager. If you're not grounded and knowing what you're doing, right? So, so inviting it in, exactly. So this is, it's so important. Um, I've done, cleansings on properties and stuff. And one property I did a cleansing on, and it took me a long time to do it. And it was out in Beaverdale. I don't know, Cougar Ridge, somewhere out there, somewhere with big houses and stuff like that. And I was walking around the property and stuff like that. And I kept feeling some really craziness about this house. And after I finished and I came in, I was talking to the woman who was um, uh, using, or I guess she was leasing the property from this guy. And I'm like, who's the owner? Like, this guy is like, really? She goes, well, he's an Asian, some guy, a Chinese guy. And I went, oh, what is he involved in? And she goes, why? What do you mean? And I'm just like, there's just some crazy shit on this property and stuff that has happened on this property and some craziness. And she goes, well, I'm not sure, but she goes, sometimes I feel uneasy, or that there's something that someone's just going to drive up out of nowhere and just break into the house. And I'm like, yeah, I think he's like a triad or something. It just doesn't feel right. And as I was doing the cleansing of the house, and the house is like huge, like 10,000 square foot house. And in the dining room, you could look up, and there was an like a balcony that went to the private library that was upstairs. That's how big the house was. And I looked up and I went, holy and I could see this entity that was there. And because she kept on telling me, there's something in the house, there's something in the house. And it's such a big house, sometimes you can't, like, there was 3 areas where you could do your laundry. There is the maid's quarters where there's laundry. There was laundry facilities downstairs, and then there was laundry facilities in another wing of the house. So Just telling you how big the freaking house was. But I looked up and I saw it. I saw this thing, and it was like in black, and I looked up at it and I just said, "You be gone," and I did a prayer and everything else, and it flew right at me and through me. That was the second time I've had a ghost go through me or a spirit go through me, and it throws you for a loop, right? Because it goes right through and you just like, "Oh, oh," and then it went out. And then I saw it leave. It couldn't stay on the property and stuff. It just left. And I was just like, okay, whatever that was, I said, it's gone. It's not going to come back. And I could see her finally, she just goes, "Oh, I feel like at peace." And then she looked over at me. She goes, "Are you okay?" Because I was kind of shaky after that. And I said, "No, it's gone. It's gone." I said, "You're fine." But whoever was in there before was dealing with some kind of stuff, right? Whatever it was. But it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So that's why I say it's always important. Always trust your gut, right? She wanted to, she was utilizing the house because she was doing one-on-ones with clients and spa and stuff like that kind of thing. Very high end stuff. Like, I mean, she wasn't a poor lady, we'll say that for her. But she ended up um she only stayed there for about 6 months or so. And she ended up saying, "No, I had to leave. We had to go to a different house." Like, it just didn't feel, and the guy who owned the house didn't even bat an eye when they said they wanted to break the lease, kind of thing. So found that very interesting. But that's the thing, is there is different energies that are out there that aren't positive, right? And when we're coming so close to Elgul, which is it's called the demon star. I mean, it's not me calling it the demon star. It's called the demon star. We know that things are being released. Things are being released into this world. Things are happening in this world. And it's not that it's not for us to go out there and start stirring more shit up, right? So this is why it's very important to stay in your love and your light and really call in that love and light. Call in those blessings. Allow yourself to do your prayers and do your meditations. Do some kundalini yoga, strengthen your auras. Like, do some kundalini yoga and breath of fire to strengthen your auras, right? I find it like this is the time to do it. It's a very much a crucial time and doing those types of things, so that you can keep yourself grounded in craziness and things that are you know happening within the world right now. So making a choice. Making a choice. Where do you want to go? What is the choice that you want to make in this in today? What direction do you want to go into? Now, I am bringing out the book because I don't use oracle cards very often. And I don't think these cards I've hardly ever used. Da-da-da-da. Making a choice. You're required to come to a decision now. Trust your intuition, ask for signs from the spirit, and you will be led to the right path. If you remain conscious and aware, your choice will be the right one. Success lies in choosing your intuition. So trust in your intuition. Ooh. So she does reversed in this deck. So this is, but you can get stuck, get unstuck. Get unstuck. Get unstuck. So stuck in your mind, but it's reversed. So this is getting unstuck. When the card is reversed, it reminds us that you are stuck due to your obstinate desire to get what you want. So you got to make a choice, right? But maybe you know that the choice that you are going to make is the choice because you just want it because of your ego, kind of thing. So this is like you got to look at what, get out of your own way. And maybe it's uncomfortable to admit that the course of action you are chosen for yourself isn't the right now. So even so, you have a choice. You can struggle in the mind and get nowhere, or take a moment to observe where you are. So this is very much with the energies. Look where you are. Make that choice. Look around. Is this where I really want to be? Is this really what I want to do? And if it's not, you can say to yourself, okay, how can I make these changes? You know, asking the divine, how, show me, guide me, help me, bring somebody to me that's going to help me to be able to make the choices I need to make in my life right now, because I'm really struggling to choose those things. And you could get a phone call, an email, something could come in and come across your path that's going to help you. And it's the talisman. Woo-hoo! Gotta love, oh, these are cool cards. They're really great. So talisman, bringing in that magic, bringing in that protection, right? Yeah. So a lesson truly learned is crystallized as earned wisdom. You have all you need to to success you seek. Wisdom allows you to recognize traps along the road. So, like fairy traps, I sent out a whole thing on fairy traps yesterday and showed people there's fairy traps out there. So, watching the road, you got a choice to make. Do I go into the circle of mushrooms? That's the other thing. Do I go in the circle of mushrooms, right? And then wonder why, shit happens afterwards after I go in. Like it's certain things you just don't do. It also enables you to quickly gather information about where you are on your journey. So it helps you to recognize your allies. So there's information there. You have information that's going to help you with your decision. You have the information that shows you that, okay, you know what, this is where I'm at right now. Certain things I can do. So I had an accident. Certain things I can do and I can't do. And I got to really honor that, right? I can't push myself. If I push myself, I'm just injuring myself more. I might think to myself, oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. Ha, ha, ha. Then the next thing you know, I'm just like, holy shit, I can't really bend over. My neck is sore. I have a sore wrist, whatever it is. So this is where you have learned your lessons and earned the right to your success. So there is this beauty that's saying, making the choices you need to make. Get out of your own fucking way, because your ego is going to say, that's not it. I'm just going, I want to do it this way because this is the way it's always done. Yet the divine is showing you something different. You want to change. You can't go down the same road. You got to make the changes you want to make. You want to lose weight? You got to get out there and do some exercise. You can't be eating Pringles on the couch, right? Doesn't work. You want to make those choices, you have to make those choices. You want things to change within your body, you want to feel healthier, you got to make the healthy choices, right? And with this, sometimes you have to go with inside. Take those moments. Take that time to go inside. And that's the overall. If you're going to make the decision, take some time. Go sit by the river, go sit in the park. Allow yourself to like breathe and take that moment of solace. And when you do that, this is where it's like, I'm comfortable in my own skin. Meditation is required when you receive the solitude. Empty your mind. Do some Kundalini yoga. Do some breath of fire, like have your hands like this, your thumbs extended, and your arms straight out, right? And then close your eyes, focus on the third eye, and then put a timer on for 3 minutes to do the breath of fire. Breath of fire is rapid breathing through the nose and pumping your stomach as you're doing it. That really, and with your arms outstretched, do that for 3 minutes. Eyes pointed at the third eye point. Then bring your hands after it, bring your thumbs together. And do some nice deep breaths in and out with your hands extended up over your head. I can't really do that, so because my shoulder. With your hands overextended, straight up, right? And then bringing them together, and then extend your fingers wide. Breathing in and out, and do that for about 2 minutes, right? And then bring your hands and then just wave them down all the way around your aura. Fingertips touch the ground. So you should be sitting in easy pose. I should have said that at the beginning. Sit in easy pose to start out. And then your fingertips onto the ground, just allowing it to ground, eyes relaxed. And then bring your hands in Gyan Mudra like this and sit with your hands just on your knees, doing some nice breaths in and out. That's going to help to cleanse and strengthen your aura. That's just one way, and that's going to help to clear your mind if you are looking at making a decision. There's information there for us. Sometimes we can't see all the information. We're blinded to it because we don't want to see it. Right? So coming into solitude, asking for that guidance, and then do some journaling afterwards. It's really going to help you in going into the direction that you want to go into. So if you're looking for something particular, or you're wanting something particular to happen, that's really going to help you, and it's going to guide you so that you can go into the direction that you would like to. So there you go, my loves. Have a blessed day. And if you my readings are on till the end of this month. So if you're wanting to get 3 readings, it's $250. One reading's $100, 2 readings $150. Astrology Club starts July the 8th for July. So we have this Astrology Club that's going to be starting up for July if you are wanting to join me for the July one, and it's $75, handouts, everything for that. So we have the Astrology Club happening, and if you want, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey of astrology, come join. It's great. You ask questions, we talk about your chart. It's beautiful group. We're just beautiful people. Just come join. And if $75 is too steep, you can do payment plans, like pay me off 10 bucks a week or something. I don't know. But anyways, have a good one, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless you in all that you say and all you be and all you do. Have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous day. Get out there. The sun is shining. And we will talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.